Good evening, everybody. My name is Cameron. Welcome back to the channel. You guys probably can't see how absolutely crazy smoky it is outside because we got fires in Oregon, fires in Idaho, but we're going to try to get this done before the sun goes down. So let me grab my chair and let's chat about how the first event went. For those of you that are new here, welcome. My name is Cameron, and behind me is my 1971 Volkswagen Dune Buggy that I built as a street legal autocross weapon. It took me about 3.5 years to get this car where it's at. Multiple engines, multiple transmissions, multiple iterations, and it finally was good enough to make it to its first autocross event. Now, the event did not go as smooth as I would have liked it to. To start, I brought the camera that you guys are on. I brought the GoPro, mounted to the helmet, but I forgot my SD cards in the computer from the last upload. So, rookie mistake there. I do not have any in-car footage, but luckily my family was there and some bystanders got some sweet pictures and some sweet video of the car ripping around the track, so I'll insert those throughout the video. But to start at the very beginning of the event, I was one of the first guys to arrive, and since this car is a new fresh build, I had to get it teched in. Tech went perfectly. They checked the brakes, they checked the battery mounting, they checked the fuel cell, and they checked everything. The car passed with flying colors. There was nothing that I needed to change, and it was perfect. 10-minute tech, in, out, easy, done. We were walking the track, and I heard someone announce over the intercom, and it was a very, very clear announcement. There was no mistaking it. They said, "Cameron, please report to your dune buggy. It smells like fuel." Now, fuel is something that I took very seriously. I put a fuel cell in there. I have every line hose clamped. I run multiple fuel filters. It shouldn't have a problem, but I go over there and it is gushing fuel out of the fuel cell. Let's go look. Now, like I said, I prepped this car. I don't mess with fuel, especially how close the fuel is to the actual exhaust. I'll flip you guys around here. Here's the cell, here's the exhaust. So you've got cap, there's headers there. Got a line that runs through here, fuel filter 1, fuel pump, and then it comes back around and loops to the double carb setup. Now, when I come over here, there is a massive puddle of gas underneath the car, and it is just pouring out. Now, when I parked the car, the lot kind of goes like this. It's a big wave, and I parked it on one of the ways. I'm not even thinking about it, and it's a warm morning. It is like 89 degrees outside, parked on a little hill, and I look at the fuel cap, and it is just pouring out of here, dripping straight down, barely missing the hot exhaust, and it was going everywhere. Now, I've got a valve stem cap on here now, but when you open this up, holy crap, that is tight. There we go. So right before the event started, I went and got gas, and I filled it up to full. So if you look in there, you'll see fuel down there, and you see the weld where the start of the neck begins. I was well below that line, but because I was parked towards the filler cap, now if you go back on there, I do really greatly appreciate it, thank you. It was just dumping out. In here is my breather. I had a check valve in here. That check valve is no more. It shot out of the car because of the pressure, and it was just gushing gas. So I had 4 or 5 different people grabbing towels, grabbing anything that we could to just clean up this fuel spillage that I'm dumping all over the paddock. It was a disaster. So I called parents. Luckily, they were really close to the event, and they brought a gas can and a turkey baster. We pumped some of that fuel out of there, and that luckily stopped. Now, I hadn't realized at that point that my check valve had disappeared. And when I went, first lap, I took it easy, and I hadn't realized that the check valve had disappeared yet. It had shot out of the car, and I hadn't noticed. I took the gas cap off. We were just grabbing as much fuel as we can. So we went to go take lap 1. Now, I wanted to take this easy because it's the first event. I didn't want to break anything right off the rip because that would have been extremely embarrassing if we broke something on lap 1. So first little putt around lap, did pretty good. Started in the second, third, fourth, just ripped around, checked brakes were chilling, and come around the corner and I meet up with one of the main event runners, and he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, you're still spitting fuel like terribly," right out of the same spot. So that's when I went and looked. Lo and behold, we have no more check valve. So we go back over there, we pull off one of the valve stem caps off my wheel, bolted on there, peachy. Didn't have any more problems. So we went on lap 2. And I gave it a little more beans this time, and it went a lot better. Luckily, haha, no more fuel spillage. So fix that problem, and I'll insert the video here of lap 2. And I want you guys to notice the second to last corner. Very weird track. I kept missing this gate, but watch the chassis as I come around the corner. Now, if you guys noticed a little bit, my chassis starts going like this towards the driver's side. And I can't feel that in the car. But when I come around the corner and I start to get on the brakes, because that right there is the biggest acceleration zone for me, the last ditch effort to get to the finish line. Brakes were okay. They weren't fantastic. It was a little concerning, just a couple pumps and cool. Came to a stop, downshifted, whatever. We made it through. We come back around. Check to make sure there's no leaks. We're okay, it's going fine. We go up for our third run. And this time I'm like, okay, we've tested the car a little bit, gave it a little more effort. Let's give it a good run this time. So pull up to the gate, second gear, how to start, and 2, 3, 4, coming around the first corner, awesome. Coming to the next corner, great. It's gripping perfectly. These Falcon RT660s are doing work. We come around the last corner and I really get after it towards that braking zone, and you'll see in this clip, it pulled the front tire. We are three-wheeling up around the corner, and let's take a look.
37,939. 1.3 seconds.
We pulled the front wheel. I'm moving now. I'm fourth gear, I am full throttle, I'm lifting tire, I come to the brakes, and the brakes go whoa, right to the floor. And I release, I pump it, okay, it's back. That was extremely weird, but fluke, right? We're thinking, because done, we're back, brakes are good. So I come around, fourth run, and this is the last run of the morning. So I am gonna give it its all, because if it breaks now, it's lunchtime and I'm just gonna go home. Parents are about a mile from the track. We're just gonna load it up and we're gonna take it home. So I get up there and I launch it. Boom, second gear, third gear, fourth gear. It is cruising. I barely any brakes. I'm really letting the tires eat. And again, I come around the very last corner, lift the tire, go through the braking zone right after the beam, and brake again, straight to the floor. This time the brake pedal didn't come back. It was stuck at the bottom of the floor. I'm reaching for it, I've got nothing. So I downshift, and I'm just, as much as I can, pumping. It only has like this much travel in it. Barely get it to come to a stop. Luckily, the tires, they are as grippy as they are, because I was able to bring it around the corner and it was fine. It just looked like I was slowing down in the braking zone, but I called it there. So I go home. I don't stay for the second half of the day because I am not going to risk any sort of brake problem again. We go through a bunch of testing. The car is running. Didn't really break anything except for the braking issue, and still to this day I don't know if it's something with the calipers. I don't know if it's something with the master, but the brakes that I have on the car are not powerful enough for what I want to do. So when you start to do a fresh build, there are definitely some teething pains, and the brakes are definitely one of them. So just to come look here, I had bought Volkswagen style front brakes. It's a Volkswagen suspension, and it has a Volkswagen dual disc master from what they say online, and they have single piston disc brakes on all four corners. It's set up like it's supposed to be. The brakes aren't backwards. Ooh, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get in there. There it is, right there. So they're not set up backwards, and they're just not as strong as I want them to be. So next on the chopping block is brakes and suspension. For the suspension, the back is perfect. I think it's great. The front is where we start to have some problems. Now, I wanted independent suspension. These have what's called a torsion tube front end, and they have a bunch of rods that go through these two, I don't know if we're gonna be able to see them, these two front pieces right here. This runs the whole length of the car, and this runs the whole length of the car, and that's where a bunch of rods are together. And when these articulate, it will twist the rods, and that's where your suspension comes in. Now, I bought a kit that is supposed to eliminate those rods and make it independent front suspension. And it works, it's good, but I have not been able to find a good shock that can keep up with the weight of the car, but with how small everything is. The spring rates are all wrong, so I got some, I believe these are Harley shocks, and they were working, but because of where I live, how terrible the roads are, and how much abuse I put on this car, they are worthless. They are blown now. They no longer work. So we are on the hunt to find some good front shocks that will help keep this car together. It is miserable to drive it. So brakes, shocks, those are the next on the chopping block. But the car survived, man. After so many years, it was such a good experience to finally get the car out and to actually drive it like it was supposed to be driven, and it's still here to tell the tale. So I am so grateful that the car didn't explode. I'm grateful the motor didn't explode, the transmission didn't explode. With how many people that told me that these transmissions are the problem child, it did great, especially for bolting 200 treadwear tires onto it. So transmission lives to fight another day, motor lives to fight another day. I live to fight another day, luckily, because the brakes were not great, but it was a good car. It finally lived. I hope you guys enjoyed those videos, but I have something else to show you before you leave. Now, we are cutting it real close on daylight, so I'm gonna hurry up and rush this towards the end. Something that my dad has started to do is he started to play guitar. And when we built Kermit, and if you guys don't know, it's this green buggy right here, he found a guitar that was produced by First Act in partnership with Volkswagen. And this guitar has Volkswagen symbols on it. It's got a VIN number of like a 2007 Jetta on the back of it. And it came with a new car purchase back in like 2006, 2007. He had bought that guitar, and it's this one in this picture right here, built it to match Kermit, and same color, same paint, everything. It is so sick, perfect for car shows. Then he built this motorcycle. This is Edward. He's a Honda CT70. I think it's a 72, don't quote me on that, but he had built a guitar to match that. And when you take it to car shows, it is awesome to have those two cars side by side, car, bike side by side with these guitars. And I had built this car. We had been looking a little bit for a guitar to match it, and he told me that there was one down in Utah and they had sold it, unfortunately. So I'm like, whatever, we're just as is. I'm not gonna worry about it. But the other day, check this out. Him and my mom walked up and they surprised me with this guitar case. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh, you can. There's a Volkswagen logo on that. Let me get this opened up here real quick. My whole family worked together to build me a custom Volkswagen guitar. My brother sanded it, my dad painted it, my mom helped with the carbon overlay, and it matches the car perfectly. I have, if you see the black lines on that car there, those are carbon fiber roll cage covers. My mirrors are APR GT3 mirrors. Those are made of carbon. Same carbon weave on the cover here, and it's the same slate gray. And if you look, there's a Volkswagen logo there. There's a Volkswagen logo there. The knobs, oh, where are we at? The knobs have Volkswagen on them. And then on the back of the guitar is the VIN plate for the 2007 Jetta that this guitar came with. I am so stoked about this. I don't play guitar, but having this to match and having all three cars that are gonna be lined up, it is gonna be so absolutely sick. So I cannot thank them enough for this. If they're watching, thank you guys so much. You don't know how much I appreciate having something like this. But yeah, there's the buggy, here's the guitar. It survived its first event. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Stick around, check out all the other videos. We're gonna have more car content, more office content, and just more content in general. I'm so excited to start posting again. And until next time, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.